Amen. All right. Man.
Are we on?
This is episode 13. And, you know, I want to thank everyone that's been tuning in, you know, and showing us love. You know, I ask you please to like, share, you know, let everybody come in, you know, because tonight is going to be another awesome night. You know, we have our very own Minister Hayden in the building. We have Brother Matthew. Our other minister of mine is, you know, he's away babysitting.
Yeah,
you know, he had a newborn. His wife had a newborn baby. You know, shout outs to him. Yeah. And, you know, he's gonna be back soon. You know, so. But tonight our guest is no other than Deacon Civilis and the one and only Apostle Lenville
guest host
Nelson.
I thought he was a guest host.
No, he's not a guest host. He's in the hot chair tonight.
Oh, okay.
So, I want to welcome them tonight. You know, we're supposed to do this podcast actually on Christmas Day.
Yes.
And, you know, everyone was like, boy, they tired and all this good stuff.
I wonder what happened. It's just sudden.
No, they were tired.
Tired? Oh, God.
Yeah, they were spending time with family, so they didn't want to come. They wanted to go full their bellies. They wanted to eat. So, Apostle, Deacon, Matthew, what's the topic?
Topic for tonight. You know, it was a topic that came up, that came to me like during the time when I was really thinking, right? You know, it's that I was in church and just congregating with a few brethren and we just talking, and I feel like a lot of people go through turmoils, and that's pretty much where the topic ended up coming from. We were talking about turmoils and the hidden turmoils many deal with, and why, and how, and just we're just trying to figure out why is it that we love to internalize things. Okay, so the topic was hidden turmoils we deal with, right. And how as Christians we try to help others and ourselves to release that burden that keeps on holding us down. All right, that's pretty much it.
So the topic is tonight is talking about hidden turmoils that we face as leaders, and how.
Is it only leaders though, or is it everyone?
I would say everyone.
We starting from the head.
Yeah, we start from the head. Being the fact that you're a leader, both of you are leaders. One's a deacon, one's an apostle. You know, being the fact that you're both leaders, I figure we just go with the leaders' attributes.
No, we can still, if you, further down in the conversation, you want to make it more than just for the leaders in a sense. We can always bring it there, but it's like we want to first start off with the leaders, then work our way down.
So, so first of all, let's say thank you, and for inviting us to your forum. And I want to say Happy New Year to all our listeners out there in Facebook land. I won't say radio land, podcast land. And it's good to be back. God has been good. And I believe that this year is going to be a great year. So we just need to get ready for what God has in store for us. It's good to see my good friend here, the Dwaynes. And the Matthew.
D&D.
Right, D&D and M. So, God is good. You want to give a word of prayer here before we start? Is that okay?
Go ahead. Usher in. Apostle. Yeah, that's it.
Father, we thank you for your presence. We thank you for your love. We thank you for your grace. We thank you for your mercies. We thank you, Lord God, for all that you've done. You've done great and marvelous things. We're very glad. I thank you, God, for this group. We thank you, God, for the idea of this podcast. And we pray, God, that somebody's heart and soul be blessed. We thank you. We give you praise in Jesus' mighty name.
Amen.
Amen.
I must first take a hit at the topic, because as any individual leaders, we all have our good days and our bad days. We all have our turmoils that we deal with on a daily basis. But we as children of God know how to deal with certain things because of we have prayer and we have fasting.
Man, you're already reaching the solution, you know? but I'm thinking we have to first understand what turmoil is.
Exactly.
You know?
Do you think that do you think we create our own turmoil?
But let's talk about turmoil.
Let's talk
What
about
is turmoil?
What is turmoil?
You know? What is turmoil? You know? One writer says is when you're at war with yourself.
What's your opinion, though?
You're at war with yourself.
That's it.
It's a very confused or disturbed state of conditions. It's disturbing, it's confusing, you just can't put it together. You know, it's very stressful. It's a state of confusion and disorder. You know, you're agitated. You're disquiet in your spirit. You know, and I can understand.
Is it always gonna be noticeable? Because could you still be in turmoil and still be like ignorant of that fact?
No, you know something is going on. You're not ignorant of it. You know something is going on. But you're trying to put the pieces together. You know? You're uneasy about certain things. You're restless and all these things are going on. There's no rest in your spirit. You know, the David asked us, somebody said, where is your God? In all of what you seem to be going through. And then he says, hope thou in God. So we have this hidden stress going on, this confused period of time, and you just don't know how you're going to get out of it. So we first have to understand that turmoil. Do we all have turmoils? Yes. We all have stuff that we're going through. From you're young going up until you're much older, we go through these phases. As leaders, you have more, because now you have other things that are very stressful that you have to deal with. Leaders, you have people that you're leading. Everybody's not the same thing. There's a saying that says, 7 brothers, 7 different minds. That thing that even on the job, you have stressful moment as a supervisor. You know. But you have to think about, how can I deal with these things? How can I walk my way through it?
Even as an apostle, you have turmoils that you deal with in the church also.
Oh yeah.
But that's all right. The turmoils you deal with church is other folks, right? That's like dealing with other people. That's kind of like dealing with other people's turmoils. But we're kind of like trying to get to the point where the turmoils that we put on ourselves, like the stuff that we actually like entertain and like we actually like bring to ourselves.
Pretty much like
it's like you're bringing on your own problems, and you actually see it coming. But instead, you're like kind of like back off. You keep entertaining it more till it get to like where you're drowning, and then by the time you come on, it's kind of too late.
But pretty much like you're saying is where you have under money, but they'll buy.
They'll buy Benz.
And then
pretty much.
And then you try to figure out how I'm gonna pay for the payments a month time. What I'm gonna do a service for a Porsche, and I'm making less than what I'm making a month. So you're putting turmoils on yourself financially.
Right.
Like you're digging yourself.
Well, you're putting stress on you because you don't think about it. You want to keep up with the Joneses and you can't. So yes, you bring on your own demise, your own stress.
Let's talk about that turmoil. The stuff we bring on ourselves. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're trying to get to. How do you overcome that?
Everybody should think before they move forward. You know?
But what if you're just moving forward because you actually, say for instance, you're like pushing somebody and you're pushing them to a limit and then you just keep pushing them till that person end up like pretty much like looking at you like you're nothing. That's like putting a turmoil on yourself. Right or wrong? So it's like you be pushing me and then I reach a level where I feel like I'm better than you. Isn't that like putting a turmoil? I'm talking about stuff like.
But that shouldn't be a turmoil, because the thing is, as a leader, my role is to push you that you're better than I am.
But sometimes
I want every teacher want their students to be better than they are.
But you don't think you can over push some people?
Oh no.
And they're not
because
ready?
why you push people is because you see their potential. You see that they have it within them, but some of them are very lazy. So you have to push them to bring it out.
It's all about when
Right?
somebody's cocky, but you're pushing them. Like they feel like they're better than everybody else, but you're pushing them.
Well, that's why as a leader you have to know the people that you're leading.
So how do you humble somebody who has that type of
I can't humble you. I'd have to, one has to humble themselves.
Oh, okay.
You know, you have to be very straightforward to the person and tell them, listen, this is a situation, and you need to see yourself.
Well, many people can't deal with that because they're not. I think like a lot of people don't look at themselves when they reached up. It's like you look at like say for instance these kids that come out of college.
Right.
You know, they're like say what 19, 20 years old, around that age, and then you're
24,
gonna
25.
no, it's not that old. So you come out of you're actually right, like 22, 23.
Right.
So they're coming out of college and say they go for instance they join like the NBA or the NFL, and you're taking like this kid that came from like nowhere, like say for instance they're like brought up in the ghetto where they had one parent which was their mom, and then now they make it to a mainstream and they're just like you throw millions at this kid. You know, this kid mindset is just not ready for that.
Right.
You know, so he just entered into a turmoil where his mind is not ready for it. And many people in the church that I feel is just like, you know, you're trying to bring them somewhere which their mind is not ready for it. And that's putting on turmoil onto yourself because at the end of the day, guess what? It's going to turn around and come right back to you. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Because
So it's like the Bible said, many are called but few are chosen. So we have to identify who is really called because some people already walk inside the church with a cocky spirit. You know, like, yo, I'm better than you. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, they're looking at you like you nothing. You know, and why would we like, you know, entertain that spirit and push that person? You understand what I'm saying? So that's like bringing on the turmoil onto yourself.
it's like you put them in a position where they can't function.
Well, they gonna function because they already feel like they're better than you. So now you put them into a higher position. Guess what? They double time feel like they're better than you.
It's like that parent who said, you know what, you can't swim, I'm going to teach you how to swim.
And I'm training the water
And
down.
then it's like, then bring you to the beach and make you feel safe. And then when they reach out to a certain point, say, come here, boy. And then
Push it
just,
out.
and then say, close your eyes, hold your breath. And I'm just making you feel calm. And then next thing you know, you just feel, like I said, you just weightless. You just feel that sense of release and then a crashing sense of like, yo, I'm in a situation, sink or swim.
I'm not joining. Sink or swim.
Sink or swim.
Yeah, and then it's like, that's how a lot of us as Christians, that's our mentality. It's like a lot of people coming in and they're willing to like, they want to get saved, but the mentality of the leader within a lot of these churches is, all right, I'm not going to give you everything, but I want you to perform. You to perform with you. I want to try your want you to try your faith. So it's like, here's the situation. I'm definitely going to lead you to where you need to go, but sink or swim. Are you going to sink or are you going to swim?
I don't know. I hear that metaphor, but I don't know if I'm 100% in agreement with it.
You don't have to be.
You know?
That's a conversation.
Now you see, you talking about who is cocky.
I think this is the right platform for him, though. I think this platform is good for him.
Right, yeah, he's expressing himself.
I've been in this church for 6 years. This is the most I
Every time you see Matthew
He's
is
behind the scenes chilling somewhere.
when you hear our testimony.
Yeah.
Matthew run to the door.
Yeah, he gives his
Ready.
testimony, boy.
Give a testimony.
Yeah,
I'd like to give them a testimony in my 2 cents and then like,
You disappear again.
but let's get back to that about the hidden turmoils that many deal with. Because, let's go back to even that point. You give people position and put them in that, and you're expecting so much from them. You have now put them in a very stressful position in the sense, how am I going to deal with this? How am I going to prove myself? How am I going to function? And they feel like they're in a bind as to, oh, Grace, I have to please this one. And yes, this is what I want to do. Because there's a lot of people who want to do their own thing. This is but I have to conform to this kind of image that I really don't want to. Remember what I said, it's a turmoil, it's a conflict that is going on inside us. That's what turmoil is, a conflict. It's like a war. This is what I want, but this is what they expect from me. Eventually, sometime, people are just going to stop coming gonna just decide, listen, I can't deal with this anymore. So as a leader, you have to be able to navigate those different areas and bring it into the right perspective. Is not to overburden somebody with that, because not everybody's able to deal with it. I might think that this person has the aptitude and the ability to do it, but they're not ready for it. So that can be very stressful. Make them restless and intimidated.
It's not that they don't have it. They have it, because you do see it in them. God is not going to make you blind to certain things. But it's just like you said earlier, they're just not ready. So how do you get a person to that point where they're like, all right, I'm willing to try? Instead of, I'm not saying they have to do it, but...
Well, first of all, you have to let them know if it is stressful, if you feel like this is not what you want, you have a choice. You can back out. Nothing is wrong with failing. Lady Sonia Barnes always says, failing is not final. Failing is not final. So don't be afraid to try something. Take a deep breath. Relax. And because sometimes we're so caught up in our emotions that we forget to breathe. We need to take a deep breath, relax, refocus, readjust, get some redirection, and feel if this is really where you want to be. I mean, even as a leader in this ministry, sometimes I have to take a breath, because sometimes so many things are going on.
And it gets overwhelming.
It gets overwhelming.
Yeah.
So you have to breathe. Sometimes you have to make a list.
Do you believe do you believe people should interview for positions in the church?
Well,
and do you feel people should be evaluated? After a while, just like how we do on a job. You have to interview for a certain. They want to make sure your mind is ready for the position you're taking on. So they interview, and then also every 6 months you have an evaluation to show you where you're at.
I don't know if you need to do it every 6 months, but you should do a yearly evaluation. Yeah. Sit down with that person.
Well, you think that's too long? Because sometimes people don't function within 4 months.
No, 6 months.
Well, the thing is,
6 months a year.
I don't really agree with the
thing is, you should not just throw somebody in a position without sitting down and having a conversation with them.
Right.
You let them know what is expected from them, what they're looking for. Sell them your vision. Are you able to flow with the vision? Give them that opportunity. And then tell them, I'm going to work with you in that area. And then, of course, at the end of the year, you sit down with them and say, man, are you doing a good job? And I think this is where you talk to me. Have a talk. That is something that we need to do if we're not doing it.
Well, there's a thing that I noticed at my job that it's not at the end of the year thing, and it's not like every 6 months, but whenever you start slipping up and you start just as soon as the first bad review, you try to take the person aside and let them hear hear themselves and see, or at least let them see exactly where they messed up, and then we try to work on and talk between each other, and then see how can we make this not happen again. So that's what I think. That's what you're trying to say, right? So. Because I understand you're still gonna do the yearly review for the whole entire team. Okay, this is the major area that we need that we're trying to hit. This is our failing area, and we need to. How can we improve this, and how can we make this better? But at the same time, you need that one-on-one with that person that is falling off. That person who you feel like they really need some kind of guidance.
Something, I can understand that on a job basis because you're going to get feedbacks and so on.
Yeah.
But think about it on the church level.
It's the same thing.
You don't always get feedbacks.
But here's the thing.
You don't always get feedbacks.
You don't get feedbacks in the church, you get rumors.
But here's the thing. When rumors start happening, it's I feel like the pastor, the deacon, or the minister should be able to
handle
take the person up to the side And, y'all know y'all positions. Just take that person aside. Like you don't have to like call them out inside church. I find that really.
No, you wouldn't do that.
But it's like
that's not.
Yeah. But again, some people don't know how to handle themselves, and they do that. So what I'm saying is, you take that person.
I don't want to make this personal.
Don't
ever take what I'm saying.
Don't never take anything on your personal, please. We're just having a conversation. What happened with the whole conversation that stuff is going to come up, which probably like somebody won't feel comfortable coming to you and talking to you about. So it's good for them. It's good for them to hear. Like, listen, okay. It's good. I just heard that, so maybe I could, go talk to the apostle about it. Some people might not feel comfortable come saying, listen, man, I know I'm struggling, I'm failing, and come and sit down and talk to you. And now you're saying it tonight, listen, you feel like you have an issue, you have a problem, come see me.
Yeah. When I first started this ministry, and throughout the years, be an usher. So I'm like,
did you think that was your calling?
No.
Be honest, all right.
No, it wasn't, because I was like, as an usher, what do I do as an usher? So I had to like do my own research, read books, and what's to be done of an usher. You know what I mean?
You have to read books?
You have to. You have to.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Well, you have to study to show yourself
You have to study. Yeah.
The Bible tells you that. Don't mean you get a position, you just go sit in it. You gotta go out there and.
Well, my impression of an usher was that person who had opened up doors, greet people.
You have a wrong impression, my guy.
But that's why we have ushers training.
And it's like you're the first person, so it's like you have to come. It's like you're the first line.
Okay.
Let me finish. Let me get my point across, because I don't like being cut. So here's the thing. So I always thought that.
Boy, I mean, not even find this man.
I always thought that the usher was the person. It's like they had to be in that right mindset. So as long as their prior life is pretty good. It's like, because you're the first person that the person, the sinner,
it's like a greeter,
saved, and everyone come, and it's like you could be that person who destroys a person, destroy a person before you even hear the word. So it's like that's my impression of an usher, that he was the one who welcomes everyone, and you also deal with that picking up the money and like
but you see,
so forth.
But there could be also hidden turmoils there. Now we may not see, but the person who's coming through the door will recognize there's something about this guy. He doesn't smile. He doesn't, he's very abrupt, that kind of stuff. So maybe there are other things going on that I may not see, but they might see, And so, you have to be equipped to be out there. You can't just be out there and not
just
being able
just to
usher. So you need to understand. So it's not just to open doors. You have to know how to deal with your feelings, because some of these folks are coming in, and when you think they're following you to the chair, they're sitting somewhere else, and they're going to be conflicts. So how do you deal with that? So these things can be turmoil, and you wonder, why is it this person is acting in a certain way? It's because there are issues that they're dealing with, and they just don't know how to express it. You're right. The leaders then should have an open door policy, where they said, listen, if you're having a problem, come talk to me. Let's discuss it. Sister Kelsa says something that is very profound. She said the leaders should be equipped to not only recognize, but to guide their followers through turmoils, because they're there, and they will continue to be there. They will. Turmoils are there. Life is very stressful.
Very stressful.
When you think about, you buy a car, you have to pay the bill, right?
Of course. Which is right.
You have to pay the rent.
Which is right.
You have to buy food for the children.
That's true.
Yeah, all these things, did I just bring them on? No, it's life, And at the same time, I have to be in church, and I have to be worshiping, and I have to be dealing with other people. It's a whole lot of stress going on. It's a conflict.
And dealing with church headache.
Right? Restless, can't sleep at night, stitching a journey. Do you know how many pastors have given up the pastorage?
And committed suicide.
Yes. Because of hidden turmoils. They don't know who to talk to.
That's the thing. A lot of pastors don't have somebody to talk to.
They don't have other mentors that they can sit down and talk with. You're crying, and people don't even know that you're crying, because when you come out here, you're smiling and you look good, and
face, like everything is like you got it together.
But you have to do that though. You have to do that
I
with
wish you
some-
didn't have to use a poker face. You want to be real with people.
No, you can't be real with people in the church because people in the church is too thin-skinned. They soft. Like,
I was people in the church. You know, there are some folks.
So some of them testifying that when I was in the world, I was just saying like, really?
And then you have some people in the church where when you're going through certain things, and you say, "No, what, brother? Someone say, no, can't talk to you. You know, I'm going through this," and then you hear it spread all over the church.
So you can't talk to nobody.
Come on.
Shane asked a question by saying, Apostle, have you ever placed someone in a position without evaluating or sitting down with them to see where they are? Yes, I have. And sometimes I think that,
Like me,
based on, their performance, based on their resume,
yes,
you think, well, this person should be able to do a good job. You didn't really go through the entire evaluation process. And especially if you're just planting a church, you need all the help that you can get. If a church was given to you, that's a different story. You already have people who are in place. Yes, it's an established situation. But when you're just planting a church, you need everybody that you can get. And for those who are planting church, it can be stressful because you alone can't do everything. You can't do the ushering. You can't always do.
1 second. Let's not say it can be stressful. It will be stressful.
It will be stressful. Be ready for the stress, right? But guess what? You alone can't be doing all the everything. So you're going to need people.
I told Moses, bro,
and therefore, look, Moses put elders in and later on they came against him. They said, do you think you're the only one hearing from God? We hear from God too. Right? So yes, sometimes you run ahead of yourself and always pray hard like Jesus went and prayed before he chose the 12. He spent all night in prayer. And then in St. Matthew 11, the Bible tells you he chose these 12 and he sent them out. So, yes, sometimes humanly say, God, I need the help.
And you put people in position.
Yes.
I believe that.
So
I seen that on my job where we put people in positions. Quite a few of them succeed, but then you have the few that's just like, they just fail, and they fail miserably. And it's just like you just put them up too fast.
So I also, as a manager, when I was out there, working in the industry, sometimes I look at some of the staff members and I think I did a very good job with evaluating them and think this person would be a great supervisor.
You evaluated them.
Yes.
You interviewed them.
Yes.
We should do the same thing in the church.
No, but what I'm saying is I put them in the position.
I understand that.
And yet still, I am disappointed at the end of the day.
I think a lot of our turmoils...
And then I have to turn around and demote them.
Okay, but a lot of our turmoils with diminish in the church is people are going through an interview stage instead of you just push people up. In my eyes, because to me, first of all, like when leaders, careful, they can hear you. They don't take it personal. It's just a conversation.
Exactly.
And to me, like, bruh, leaders, like, I'm making a point, like, to me, to try to be here. I try to beat him here. I don't see why the apostle need to come over in the church. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't think a leader should be showing the church at 12 o'clock. Nah. Just like you got to go to work, right? If I got to be to work at 4 a.m. to open Publix, let me show up there at 5 o'clock every day and see what happens. You have to demote me in a heartbeat. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, if you're leaders, bro, you're supposed to be at church by, you should even be in Sunday school. If you can't make Sunday school, be here by 11 o'clock. You understand what I'm saying? But then that stuff just slide. So that's just creating turmoil in my eyes. Like, you're just creating it. Like, okay, I'm welcoming it. You understand what I'm saying? But like some stuff we just need to start to me cutting, and then the turmoil will start going down. The interview process to me, like you said, okay, the Lord said to make you a deacon, you should sit down, interview, talk to you, see where your mindset is at, see where your head is at, and then move on from there. And you should be evaluated. The apostle does say a year, but I think it should be every 6 months.
But here's the thing, though, it's like thinking back. Moses is the best example of Moses. Mm-hmm. He had to go through an interview process for the 12 because there was the people, the set people that he got as ministers to assist.
70.
My apologies for the numbers, but anyway. So the most important, what I'm trying to get at is that
he went through an interview process.
Now, the difference between that interview process and the world interview process, that we had to put God first. Like, God, is this person right? I'm still watching him. I'm trying to see where his mindset at for that position. But God, do you think this person is right?
Let me also tell you.
And I feel like
the thing I look at is like, say for instance, all right, say God forbid, okay, you have a leader that shows up to church every day. and that person is like next in line to like take over the church. How's the church gonna function?
Say it again.
If you have somebody, not saying in this church, but if you have somebody in line to like take over like a position and they're late every day, if they can't even come to church like on time or early, as in the position they're in, why happen when they take over the church?
You will not give them that position, period. They cannot take over. Go ahead.
I understand where Minister Hayden is coming from, because when I was in a job, and if you give people a position and they don't function, what the manager does is he talks to you, give you like maybe 3 warnings. Right? He said, okay, this is your first warning, sign it. Second one is sign it. The third one,
you're talking about a council statement, like a write-up.
right?
Okay.
So he just demotes you. So to me, I think if you give them like verbal warnings, and then you just say, okay, you know what? If you can't function and come to church on time as a leader, because you don't want the folks to see you as a leader, a person who you're supposed to look up to, come to church at 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, when the word is already going forth.
You said something earlier. I'm sorry.
Churches have bylaws and policies that one should adhere to. Just like at your job, you have one of those books.
Handheld.
But how many
Associate handheld.
That's correct.
They don't force you to read it, but you better know it.
But you better know that handbook. You don't have to read it, but you better know it, because if you mess up, they're going to say, based on page so and so, number so and so, you're violated.
Yo, people might say like I'm harsh on my job. Like, you wear the wrong color shoes, I send you home.
Okay, so the church has bylaws. You sound like me when I was back then. You come to work without a name badge, I send you home. You need to wear your name badge. But in church is a different thing. I can't send you home. You see, the church is a different rule book that we're going by here. You know, I can't tell somebody, hey, go home because so and so. No, I'll be out of place.
Understand?
But at the same time, there's a bylaw that we go by, and their policies are established in the church. And I don't have to go to all of that right now, but there are bylaws that you go by, whether it's your Christian conduct, policies like if you sin, how do you go with certain things, how do you, the steps that you take, all of these are bylaws that you have, and so on. So, for example, if the next pastor is supposed to take over, this is what they're supposed to be doing, blah, 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 it's all there. So if they're not adhering to that, then there's no way they can be, promoted upward in position. You talk about, I can't evaluate, in the ministry, you give somebody the position, for example, a deacon, and then again in the bylaws, it says every 2 years or every so on you'll be reevaluated, for that position. It's a post, remember? It's a post that you're in and you have to function. So you give somebody, you say you're going to function for 2 years or 1 year, and after 1 year we're going to be reevaluated, and based on that we decide whether you stay as is or we put somebody else in place. How can you think about if you put a youth president in place and in 6 months you change that person because you feel that this is what it is, and then you find somebody that's for another 6 months? No, give them the run of the time. If you have a problem, you sit down with them, discuss it, and say, listen, I realize this is what is happening. It's a conflict, it's a term, it's bothering my mind also, as a leader, because you're not seeing what you expect.
But here's the thing.
Everything must be measured.
You said give them till the time, whatever. But here's where I don't really fully agree with that, right? Let's say you hear rumors that your youth president is messing with some of the young people in the church.
What do you mean by mess? What do you mean by that?
What I mean by
sleeping around?
They're sleeping around.
Okay.
Do you take them aside?
Oh no, that's a different thing. This is sin. This is a sin issue now that you have to deal with.
So how would you deal with it?
How would I deal with it?
Yeah, that's what he said. Sit them aside.
According to the handbook and the policies. And so this is what we have to deal with.
I don't like these terms. I like real.
That's what I'm saying.
It's just like on your job, if you steal, what do they do with you?
Fire you.
If you're late, what do they do with you?
Write you up.
That's correct. Yeah. So it's the same thing in the church. You go by the steps and the rules of the church. This is what we do.
What I'm trying to get at is what is the step that you take?
Lenville, I don't have to go through.
I really want to know.
Yeah, but I'm not going to go into all that. Everybody has their different policies. Everybody has their own. This is a broad-based thing. I don't want to say this is what I do.
I like the political terms, but thank you. I get what you're trying to say.
This is not just about me. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's broad-based. It's for everybody. Okay? And this is what they will have to do. They'll have to go by the guidelines, the rules that they have set up. But you have to deal with it. These are stressful moments, not only for you, but the other congregants, that they have to deal with.
So I remember you said something earlier during.
Hold on a second. That's why Minister Donovan should be here. He said on paper everything can be perfect, which is right, but hands-on circumstances can be very different to handle, even with book of knowledge.
We miss you, man.
And that's so factual.
But that is so true.
So it's written on the paper perfect. Don't pass 45 miles an hour, but yeah, bro, I'm late. I'm seeing 55, 60.
Consequence, you pass 45, what are you going to get?
Here's the thing, you know your road. So it's like, you know which road you
Ignorance of the law.
It doesn't matter which road.
You know your road because I know that on my way to work.
Don't even go there.
I know.
Don't even go there.
You know the limit said this. We can't go a little further.
And then one day, that road gonna have a speed trap waiting for you.
It sounds like you get that ticket immediately.
No.
No.
A friend of mine did though. Anyway, so
AKU.
It is Phil Mullen who says that turmoil is a basic feeling found in everyone, and can be suppressed or neglected. But it's there. We can either suppress it, don't deal with it, just neglect it, or you can deal with it.
But do you pick and choose which one you deal with and which one you like dismiss?
Well, like everything else, there are some things that are major that you have to deal with right away.
Sin is sin.
Well, if you're going to talk about sin, that's what it is. Sin is sin.
But it should be the same thing.
But not all turmoil is sin.
I'm not saying the turmoil is sin. I'm just saying, if it's something that's bothering you or bothering your spirit, you should just deal with it.
If it's a sin issue.
Sin or no sin, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be sin.
Okay.
It's something, if a turmoil bothering your system, something is bothering you, and it's eating you up on the inside. Not saying it's sin, but somebody's doing something that's just.
But remember,
not
you
right.
said that there are a lot of things going on. So
you talk about it. Talk about it.
Sometimes to some people, I'm just not here, dog.
Well,
dog.
Sorry.
Oh my!
Just the conversation.
There's certain terms that come from I remember you said something earlier that I really want to get to. You said earlier that why is it that so many Christians are so fragile, emotionally fragile? Every little thing bothers them. I remember I was reading something and it was talking about a damaged child. Mm-hmm. They're cold to they set up a wall in front of them, and when you as they come, that's the people of the world. But as you come to Christ, that wall that you have up is gradually getting demolished. So they're back to that, even though they're grown adults or whomever, they go back to that childlike state where it's like every little thing that your pastor say. And I'm starting to understand that now, because a few weeks ago it didn't make sense, but I realized that they go back to that child mentality, where is what my pastors say. I rely on this person because I can trust them. I can take my guards down. So it's like, even though your guards are down, so certain things are able to affect you now. And it's like, until you're able to mature in Christ, you're still gonna get that hit where it's like every little thing, because you're still raw. You're still, so it's like, yes, and I think that's the reason why so many people in church, every little thing bothers them. When they weren't inside church, that stuff just breeze past them, because it's like, yo.
I don't know, it maybe used to bother them, but for example, let's talk about a child who father was not there for them. A father who they're looking up to, but the father is not there. Or even if they're living in the house, they're just not there. They're not being the father that they want, the father that should be there caring, especially with a girl, And they're seeing all this. That's a conflict. That's the inner turmoil. you know. And as they grow up, it's the same thing. There's no change. There's no difference. And sometimes they look around and they see other fathers who are, you know, so cordial to their daughters and are there for them. But they are, so even now, so they're left out in the cold. Now they're in the church. It's something that they have to deal with. It's an issue. And as you said, sometimes it's not easy to open up, or even if they kind of let their guard down a little bit, because maybe of their pastor or their mentor or their leader, you know. But at the same time, it hits home hard. For folks who are out there, how do they deal with it? They go drink. They take drugs. You know, they do crazy stuff. Because that's what they do. It's driving them sometimes not to deal with the issues.
Just to add to what you said about like a child growing up without their father, because I grew up without my father, and certain things like when I see like my neighbors, my friend and his father doing things, it kind of build up something inside of me, right? But because certain things where I used to be standoff with people, because as a young man growing up, I didn't understand it. My father, didn't teach me a lot of stuff. So a lot of stuff I used to watch on TV to know certain stuff, like how to talk to a woman, how to get myself together. You know what I mean? So
How to shave.
And so me now, as having my own kids, I try to teach them the stuff that I wasn't been taught when I was growing up.
But that was a turmoil growing up.
Right.
But how do you deal with people now?
I do people differently because once I step into,
Or even your father, actually.
if I see my father now, I'll like, hey, what's up? I'll talk to him because I can't say I'm in the church and I have a grudge in my heart. You know what I'm saying? I just say I forgive you.
Okay. Another turmoil that I want to look at is like in a marriage relationship. Outwardly, look like the marriage is going pretty well. So there's a facade. But inwardly, you know that this marriage is just not right. This is not where it's supposed to be. So you're caught between whether should I stay or should I leave? How do you deal with that? That's a stress.
Yeah, because usually that's usually.
No. Tell the fact that
You know it's not. This marriage is unhealthy. It's not a healthy relationship.
All right, so
Let me ask you a question, Matthew, right? You get married, right? And you find out your wife, both of y'all are in the church. You found out your wife, she messed around, right?
why would you get it?
No, Matthew not stay because Matthew said trust
Right.
and no more.
Why would you? Okay, would you leave?
Matthew not stay.
Would you leave? Knowing that you know the word of God and you're in the church, and forgiveness. That's a big topic. Forgiveness.
Yeah.
Would you forgive your wife for messing up one time?
Here's the thing. All right.
Here it is.
This is how
you view it.
how I view it.
Yes.
Right? If we have kids together, I will learn to forgive you, but I cannot be in the same house as you. I cannot be tied to you. I'm not saying I'm gonna go out there looking for other people, but
You're going to separate.
yeah, we're
Basically.
not together.
But you see, that is a stressful moment where you have to make a decision. You see, there's other relationships where abuse is going on, whether verbally, psychologically, mentally, you name it. You know, all these things are happening. These are hidden turmoils. You come to church, you smile.
Poker face.
You know, you run the aisle. But when you leave out, you know you're going back to a relationship that is sour.
Ready to hit you.
Them just a cuss
In turmoil.
Because in the car coming to church while the winner like, hey, Deacon Silvers, how are you?
You know, infidelity, abuse, you're constantly arguing. You know, the relationship has become very painful. What do you do? And the leaders say, oh, you got to pray. Pray some more. Pray.
That I don't
And nothing is wrong with
Nothing is
praying.
wrong with praying, but at some point, I remember the story the man said, like, you know, the man was strapped on his house and there was a flood around him. and they sent the boat. And the man said, no, God gonna make a way. They sent a helicopter. Man said, no, God gonna make a way. The man came by with a raft. He's like, come on. He goes, no, I'm waiting on God. Till the water ended up drowning him. Yeah, but prayer gonna give the answer.
I'm just talking about turmoil here. Yes, that, you know, the answer came and you did nothing with it.
Nothing with it.
But I'm not like sometimes one time I go through my termites and the prayer come like it just hard for come out of me. Sometimes I have to really push to forget the prayer come out because sometimes it bigger than me. So I'm saying, Lord, help me. Because sometimes we really go through something.
What about a young man who's deciding, you know, about a wife? And you're hesitant, you know. You're wondering.
I can't elaborate on it.
Really?
No.
You're wondering. Well, you can't elaborate.
You might not like my answer.
Again, this is just a conversation.
Because you're not certain. You're like, really? I mean, all the signs are saying yes, but is this person emotionally ready to deal with marriage? And, you know, we think about I need to have the house and the land and all of that stuff before I
for one is happy I got married.
Is a person compatible? Will the person be willing to make that commitment? You see, we are thinking all these hidden turmoils. We know that we're at the age that we need to get married. We know that we need to start having children, or, you know, if that is what you want. You know these are the things you want to do. But these are turmoils that are there. You're in church, you're young, you know, you're not married yet, and you're wondering, am I ever going to get married? Oh, somebody can't talk now, right? Oh, this is not personal. This is just a conversation.
Shades are throwing, my friend. Shades are throwing.
All right, so how about you're in a job?
No, make him answer the question.
I was just throwing things out there, you know?
You throw it over there.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Hey,
but think about you're in a job and, you know, the job is just stressful. Stressful. To just to get up and go to work every day is like a pain.
Is it paying well?
And that's the thing. It is paying well. It can take care of your bills. It can, you even have extra after all that. But it's just the place that you're at is just feel like, God, this is not where I'm supposed to be. Stressful.
Yeah.
Turmoils. Conflict. How do you deal with all these stress?
But you can't leave it but you get something else.
Yeah, I know. So you start looking. So it's like, for instance, for a while, I was working at one job, and I know for a fact I shouldn't have. But I kept on playing around with it, and to the point where I was like, Jesus, I feel like I'm still gonna keep on playing with this. Put me in a situation where I say, all right, I'm leaving. And when people say them fear God humbling you, it's a really, after that situation, I was like, all right, Jesus, anytime this situation happens again, I'll just leave. Because I really don't want you to be the one who do it for me. Because that day, I legit almost lost my life. And I'm like, all right, that's how you go and really show me, like, yo, it's time to leave. Because everything else was going smoothly. The business was finally starting to grow, but I just knew it was
time to go. But listen, that's a conflict. You're at war with yourself, and a lot of us are at war with ourselves. There are decisions that we have to make, you know. And you said there are places that we need to go, or job that we need to leave, or wives that we need to get married to, or husbands, or marriages that you just need to get out of. But we're there, oh, well, I'm staying because of the children. Oh, I'm staying because of this. I'm staying. But yet still, you're ready to choke each other. Why stay there? These are the conflicts that people go through. We're warring in our minds, you know.
So, you said earlier that another reason why people stay because of kids. So you So you think even though you, as a Christian now, not as a unsaved, because they do whatever, but he said, I think it was you who mentioned it earlier about, so let's say I was married or something like that, and would I leave if there's infidelity? Now, let's say kids were introduced in this situation.
The kids will have turmoil.
So honest, yes, and it's like that is a guarantee. Regardless, everyone's gonna have turmoil. But it's like, are you gonna be that person who said, I'm gonna stay here till they're 18? I can't see myself doing that, because it's like for every moment I'm with that person, I'm just gonna remember. Because yes, I'm trying to forgive them, but I can't forgive them while still being so close to the situation. So I have to give it some distance.
Need time apart to
exactly
work back on the trust.
And I'm still gonna be in the kid's life, because that is my kid, and I'll do everything I can for them. But at the same situation, you got to think about yourself before your kid, before that person. It's like God first, then yourself, and then everything else. So it's like, are you going to really sit there, cause yourself to be because your mind is your biggest enemy. As a Christian, your mind is your biggest enemy. Yes, it can. There are times when you work together, but your mind will cause you to think and populate every little thing the person does. Is gonna be like, all right. You start being petty and start bringing up certain situations, and it's like you're the one who's saying, I'm trying to forgive, but you're gonna become a hypocrite because you're sitting in that situation and you haven't fully forgiven them.
But can I say this is a sad story, but. My brother-in-law had a wife, and he was in a very toxic relationship. She nagged him day and night. He'd be tired coming in from work, and she'd wake him up in the middle of the night, and she'd torment him until almost daybreak. It got so bad that one night the guy went out. I don't know. He just went out, put a rope around his neck, and that was the end of it. He killed himself. Why stay in that relationship? There's a war going on.
It's a toxic relationship.
Yes. You know, that guy's gone. Why? Because of this constant nagging. They abuse. Women abuse men too. It's not only men that abuse women.
Facts.
Right? So think about that. Maybe he didn't have the filter where he could, prayer. But even with prayer, and every day you're praying, and Lord, and you're praying and you still have this nagging situation. Now, I'm not saying prayer doesn't work. Don't get me wrong. Prayer changes things.
It's your mindset when it comes to prayer. Because people say, yo, you can't pray about this. But how you're taking it when you're in that mindset of that situation is like, yo, you don't understand what I'm going through. And it's like, you undermine the capabilities of prayer. But when you come to that mindset where everything else is like nothing else can help but going to one above, that's when you realize, that's when prayer really starts working. Mm-hmm. It's not when you because when you're going through that situation and your mindset is only focused on that situation and you forget who your father is. I remember the best scripture I could person in the Bible I can remember is the prodigal son. Is once during that situation when he left his father, he did everything his way. So when he was going through his situation, he was doing it his way. The reason why he went to the pigsty before he was going to their father, because he tried to fix it his way. So that mindset was not to go on that pride. That mindset is not to go to the father for assistance, but to go to try to fix it their way. So once you reach that place, that mindset yo, what am I doing here? My father has many. Why am I sitting wallowing with pigs, eating from pigs? So it's like once you're able to, and that's prayer right there. It's like once you're able to take yourself from out of that situation and mentally, and remember that your father's there, everything else will work out.
You mentioned something about your brother-in-law. Mm-hmm. I had a friend recently. He was ashamed to talk to me. We know each other for years. We used to be roommates. And one Sunday, I was in church and he called me. He said, "Can I talk to you?" I said, "Yeah, talk to me." He said, "When you get home, I'll call you." I said, "All right, call me." I called him. I said, "Talk to me." And he opened and he told me that his wife is beating him, literally beating him. And I said to her, I said, why you?
And that's why a lot of people would talk to them, man, because they see Apostle laugh.
And listen, and he said she slapped him, and then she went to church. She went because she's a Christian. So I said to him, I said, so he's a non-Christian. So I said, why do you stay in that abuse? Like you said, it's toxic. Why?
Toxic.
And he said he doesn't know.
I believe that. I feel a lot of people don't know why they stay.
Yeah, but let's go back to it. The hidden turmoils.
And
I said it earlier. A lot of people.
And that was like a secret of his, and I was the only one that he told.
Well, now everybody knows.
Here's a,
No,
you don't know.
Everybody don't know who it is.
Here's the thing, I said it earlier. A lot of people out in the world are that child who's damaged. So it's like there's a lot of things that they're ignorant to and they accept because they believe that this is how things work. Now, once you come to Christ, that's when you start that wall that you built up to protect yourself, to keep yourself alive. You're starting to break it down because you're starting to have an understanding of how things really that there's something out there outside of what you considered what you consider the norm. So that's why he was like, I don't know, because I'm not saying because there's always help, self-help, and all the counselors, but a lot of people believe because of pride, no, that's not.
There's an old saying.
What it comes to.
There's an old saying said, if they're gonna beat you, they're gonna love you.
Oh, it's like that's another topic.
Really?
But hold on.
But
I want to talk about something somebody wrote. Marie Smith. She said, "Marriage is not like a job. We must learn to forgive and move on. And if you're in a job and there's a conflict, every workplace we go, we need to evaluate ourselves. Maybe that individual is the problem." But that's kind of contradictory because you said a marriage is not like a job. We must learn to forgive and move on. How many times do you forgive in a relationship?
7 times 7.
Until you reach that point to say, "Oh, I'm done with this."
Until you reach a point when the man kill himself?
No, not to kill yourself, but when you reach that point and say, "I'm done with this. I'm moving on."
Oh, and then she also say fight it with
some
love.
people might find it quicker than others.
You fight something with love and you're not getting love back. I think you get tired. You just get tired of
I
fighting.
want to get tired of fighting.
Yeah, I mean you can only fight but so much. Even people that fight professionally. You got 12 rounds and sometimes they can make it to 8. They tired. They want to pass out. So how long do you fight for? You know, abuse comes in so many different ways. Therefore, whenever you see the red flags, don't proceed. I agree with that.
Sometimes it's mental abuse also.
It could be any kind of abuse, bro. Abuse is abuse.
Because I work with a guy in my job and he's mentally being abused.
Hold on. This is a question I thought about at work the other day.
Which one?
What is the order of family in a man's life according to the Bible?
God, husband, wife. Is that what it is?
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
God first, then your husband or wife, then children, and everybody else after.
Oh, I don't agree with that.
No?
No.
Who do you think is? Okay.
I think your kids come next.
After who?
In anything.
You have God.
God, then your kids.
Oh no.
Why not?
Oh no.
Why not?
You're a helicopter.
Because you're the head. Who's the head of the household?
I am the head of the household.
Okay. So God, then man,
I understand that.
then family.
Yeah.
But why would you put your kids first? Because the husband or the wife can always leave.
No, wife and children come under the same heading.
Oh, that's what you mean.
Family.
Oh.
Family. So you
I
have
used
God.
I used to say father, family, and football.
Church.
But that's the father.
Yeah. So you have, Father God.
Yeah.
Oh, God, man, family, and then everybody else.
Okay.
You know? And that's another thing why some ministries and pastors get, because they're so caught up, they forget that order, and they're focused on the church. They're flying here, flying there, preaching, and forget about the family.
Yeah.
Family come first. And that's why, in this ministry that I'm in, family is of utmost importance. Drop everything you're doing. Go take a vacation.
I agree with that.
Yeah, of course. I will go on. Go take vacation. Go out with your family. Go take your wife to dinner. When was the last time you take your wife to dinner? You know, your husband, wife can take their husbands to dinner too, right?
I'm paying for it.
Amen.
I'm for it too.
Yeah. Those who are sitting in the
All right.
audience.
I can't make no noise because I don't have that issue.
But another part of your question is, how can we, as follower of Christ, help ourselves and help others to release some of the burdens and the pressures from ourselves? Want to jump in?
Yeah. I want to try it. It's like earlier you said, just go on vacation. So if you know that you and your spouse are, that's a turmoil that you're trying to deal with.
Bahamas and
Why fear the opportunities? Just like you said earlier, there was a boat that came by, there was helicopter came by to help, but yet said, "Oh, I'm praying about it. God will deal with it." Why, when God already provided the means for you to get help, why run away from it? So there's counseling. I'm stressing this because I actually feel like that will help. I understand that the Bible will help. Yes, it will. Praying will help. Fasting will help. Yes, but you need some outlet where miscommunication can die, because a lot of people. I find that most relationships fail because of miscommunication. And if you find it's you and your spouse are two hot-headed people and you cannot get your point across without raising your voice, without arguing, without running, walking off, saying, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm just going to go up to a friend or go drink something. So why is it so hard to find a middle ground to say, all right, let's talk about this. Let's actually air out our conversation. Exactly.
To find a middle ground, you both have to be in that mindset to want to have find a middle ground.
If as a spouse, as a couple, if you're not trying to work to fix that situation, it's time to find to separate. Because
I don't think it's time to separate.
Church or just
I'm
just talking about it regularly. I said we start off with a head and then we're going to work our way down.
You got to keep in mind that Matthew, once you burn Matthew bridges, they burn.
Exactly. So it's like for me.
That's his mentality.
It's like.
Well, what about that 7 times 7? But
yeah,
listen
I will
to
forgive
me.
you, but
I don't think.
Separate.
Because you're not communicating and you need counseling and then that's it, you separate.
No, here's the thing.
No,
what I'm trying to get at is like, if you're not trying, if I'm the only one trying to make this work, I don't see the point of this working. We need to separate. We can still be friends, but we cannot be in that type of relationship. Because it's like a relationship is for both, is where both people are coming together as one. You got to stop being selfish. During that situation,
but you can't be selfish by separating and leaving without settling the situation.
Here's the thing, though. I agree, but I disagree, because it's like if only one person is trying to work to make something work, it's not gonna work. It's gonna sink. So it's like. That's why I'm like, all right, if you're not actually trying, we have to part ways. We cannot stay in this.
Listen,
any single ladies that's listening, that's Matthew.
Yo, you better
he's in his 20s. He's in his 20s. I'm helping out my boy. He's Matthew. He's in his 20s. And what you see is what you get.
Exactly.
A good resume.
You better be standing in God hard.
This man said,
because the minute you come home and you don't wash your dishes, he's like, yo, I'm tired of this.
Yo. I'm not so bad. But it's like, when it comes to that portion, because I love and respect a relationship. Mm-hmm. And it's like that person was like, you know what? I'll let that slide. And the person's beating me. I'll let that slide when the person is demoralizing you. Oh, I let that slide. Oh, I can't have. It's like you. That's an abusive relationship.
That
I can't. I don't want that. I don't want to reach that point where
in communication, you need great listening skills. Because a lot of people, they're talking, but they're not listening. What was that?
nothing.
No. The reason why I say it, I remember they had to put a guy in jail because he almost killed his wife because she
Demoralized him.
completely just destroyed him mentally. Where it's like, yo, you know what? Here's a cutlass. Say something. And it's like they had to call police. I don't want to get to that point. I'm not saying I'm that person, and I'm not saying that I'm.
But that's what you said. This is what turmoil does: is the hidden things that are there. You know, the war that is going on in the mind.
Yep.
You know, it's a basic human feeling. It's your emotions that are involved in all of this.
When it comes out hard.
So you talk about communication. A lot of people are talking, but nobody's really listening.
That's true.
You know, how many times you tell somebody to do something, and you have to be repeating and repeating and repeating yourself, and even when they do it, it is not done the way that you want it done. Right? So it's the same thing. It can be stressful to the person who want to get this job done, and it's not done, but you have to have patience. Sometimes you need, as I said earlier, take a deep breath. Step back. Because a lot of us, we are so caught up emotionally in all this that we don't have time to breathe.
Wonderful. Well,
you know,
we've come
and then, are you serious? Are we done?
Hold on, you can't do that.
Oh my God. Are you serious? Now just step back. Wow. Breathe.
That's not the kind of person.
No. He said he wrapped it up in such a beautiful way that
Patience, breathe, step
just
back,
breathe
relax.
and step back. That's a
hold
beautiful way.
on. Somebody said that. It's a two-way street, but some people doesn't like to compromise, and that's really. Try this again. It's a two-way street, but some people doesn't like to compromise, and that's where the problem comes in most of the times. There's a lady that sang a wonderful song that said, "I found love on a two-way street and lost it on a lonely highway."
So that just reaffirms my point.
Stacey Lottie's song.
Stacey Lottie, what? That's an awesome. Let me tell you something. The first time I got my heart broke, that was my favorite song.
You lost it on a lonely highway.
I lost it on a lonely highway.
How stressful that was. Hidden turmoil. Oh my God.
I wasn't mad. I don't think I had no hidden turmoils over it. I mean,
I remember I've ever any heartbroken already.
yo, stop your lying, boy.
I remember.
Just a conversation.
Boy. Well, you never got your heart broke.
No, I said I've not.
Yo, we ain't therapist, so we ain't gonna do
Yeah,
that.
you got your heart.
Jesus make me smile again.
You know you not lit up in your bed listening to what's that guy named 105 with the deep voice? Freddie Cruz.
Not trying to give him no plug.
Well, I'm out of that one.
Posse, you never got your heart broke?
No, why?
I'm asking, it's a question.
Been 32 years. Wonderful years.
Wow.
Yeah. 32 wonderful years.
Man.
Really?
Yes.
No heartbroken.
The first one for me.
Man.
And we'll be happily married.
No
Thank you,
pressure.
Jesus.
Y'all heard that. Y'all heard the man said one and only.
One and only.
One and only.
Boy,
Respect that.
God bless
Get
you.
my
I
heart
respect
broken
that.
yet
Huh?
I still come think about it. I don't think I did. Never did.
You know that thing,
All right.
there's a thing called blocking, and it's like a lot of people tend to want to block.
And you have some people that just don't want to admit
Exactly.
when they got their heart broke.
Hidden turmoil.
Hidden turmoil.
Hidden turmoil.
Now we'll know when you get your heart broke, because you'll take it out on somebody. That will flare up inside of you, boy.
But don't fry everybody in the same oil.
That's true.
I'm afraid everybody don't want pot.
But you know, it's
But can I just say, because he's already closed me out, by saying,
Shit.
shut that door.
my last thing is, take it easy on yourself. Don't be so hard.
Don't beat up yourself.
You know? David said it this way, hope thou in God. Why thou disquieted within me? Oh my, what all this hidden turmoil going on?
Hope what?
Hope thou in God.
Okay. Hope thou in God.
Hope thou in God.
And Paul said,
Therefore,
hope
I
is
have
certain, making the
hope
heart
that
sick.
is certain, hidden in Christ Jesus. And that's where it's at, friends. Good to see my good friend, Rosemary Booth.
Rosemary Booth, big up.
Amen.
Yeah, I mean, our topic tonight will basically talk about hidden turmoils. You know, stuff that's sitting like pretty much inside of us that's dormant, and some of the stuff that we bring onto ourselves by, you know, like doing some crazy stuff that we have no business doing, and we bring some turmoil onto ourselves. Like You know, Deacon Sibley said you only have 100 money, but you go buy a
Porsche.
Porsche.
Big Turmoil.
Yeah, go buy a put yourself in a big headache. You know, so that was our one
And
of our
evaluate
topics
people before you put them up, because later on it might, you might.
I believe in that 100%. I think we should evaluate people before.
As
we promote
leaders,
them.
don't just
As
put
leaders.
people up, because really think about it and pray about it. But before that, Sister Mavis just put a plug in for Matthew. She says Matthew is a good man and is very deep in thinking
You know
and
what,
love Jesus
let's
and
move
also
on.
a giving person.
Thank you
So,
very much,
my
Mother.
God, she's kind of putting him out
please
there.
don't do that. Thank you.
How you mean?
That's a mother's
I'm
love.
good.
That's a mother's
Yeah,
love.
just pray for me. That's all.
Well, you always imagine pretty much straight.
Amen.
Amen.
That's all. You know, plug me. Just
yes,
just pray for me.
it's been an awesome night, awesome topic. You know, we have the apostle on here, Apostle Evan Nelson, Deacon Dwayne Siblis, and also we got to give a big shout out to a couple of our sponsors, Kenyatta McLeish. You know, hit him up. He got some shirts on sale that says "Nothing beats prayer, but prayer beats anything." We tagged him into the post. You can hit on him, hit him up, inbox him. He'll let you know about his shirts. Also, I have to give another shout out to another sponsor, which is my trainer, Andrew Smith. You know, you can hit him up if you want to like change your lifestyle around as far as physical, lifestyle, your physique. You know, if you want to get a six-pack before the summer, which I'm working on really hard. I started off 6 months ago at 386, and today's date I'm at 317. I'm down 69 pounds.
Bless.
And I'm going for the facts. Trust the process.
Facts.
And I'm going for the 100-pound mark by what we in January, February, by March.
By February.
Yeah.
What do you mean to lose 100 pounds?
Yeah, by March I want to be down to 286.
February, man. Make it.
No, March. You gotta be realistic. Gotta be realistic. So by March I want to be down to 286. That'll be a 100-pound mark. That'll be a big lifestyle change that I have done. Hit him up. He coaches you in meal guides, workouts, anything you want to get into. Also, like I said, hit up Kenyatta McLeish. He has these shirts for sale. One of our other sponsors. Nothing beats
If you want to
prayer.
be a sponsor, don't be afraid to call.
Yep.
Text.
Get us a DM.
Amen.
Shoot us an inbox. And like I said once again, I have to give a big shout out to Apostle for coming in.
You want
Out of my busy schedule, they took me out of that.
you want to plug yourself, Minister?
You
Deacon? You want to plug yourself?
Yeah,
Marty, you are
just want to leave a word that I have right here that I have written down.
Mm-hmm.
Right? My word that I'm going to leave tonight is remember your character.
Amen.
That reminds me of, I think it's Ephesians 5:22, fruit of the Spirit. Fruit, the 9 different fruits, the character of a Christian.
Character of a Christian.
It should be stronger than your turmoil,
Your circumstances,
your
right.
circumstances. Yeah, rise above it.
It takes a lot of understanding to make a relationship work. The main source is Jesus. The main source is Jesus.
That's correct.
I mean,
Well, this was just a conversation. You can always get us on Tuesday.
every Tuesday at 8 p.m. We're here live. You can also go on our YouTube channel, subscribe, like, share. It's just a conversation. Type that in. It will come up. You'll see a microphone. With a yellowish background. That say just a conversation. Go in there, subscribe. Also, you can follow us on Instagram. Same thing, just_a_ conversation.
And if you have any church announcements that you want to plug, just remember, get in contact with us and we'll try to showcase it.
Yeah, and our church is Kingdom Builders International Apostolic Ministry, where we're dedicated to, we're young men on fire for Christ. We do have this podcast, which is just a conversation where we speak about stuff that, sometimes we can't really step to our apostle to or any, just to talk among ourselves, just to hear other people's point of view. So please don't take anything we say personal. It's not meant to be personal. We're just having a conversation, and that's basically what it is. Because a lot of people have a lot of stuff that they're scared to say. We're just setting a platform like this, and it's okay to talk about it. It's not for you to hide that turmoil inside of you. But you can talk about it. You can let it out.
And one last thing, if you want to be a guest, don't be afraid. Just reach out to us.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
All right, just to let you know that our church is located at 6150 West Oakland Park Boulevard. For those who don't have a church home, hey, feel free to come on over.
Feel free to come on in. We start at 10 a.m. for Sunday school, 11 o'clock for family worship. during the day and you want to come pay us a visit at night, come on by 6150 West Oakland Park Boulevard. We're here 7:30 every Sunday night. Come check us out live. You won't regret it, you know. And it was a pleasure. Do really appreciate you coming on, Apostle.
Thank you
I
for
know it was
having
kind
me,
of
sir.
tough for you tonight. You didn't want to get out of the box. Well, we'll get you out of the box one day. You know, Apostle Martin Griffith was on last week. He stepped out of the box a little bit, you know, but then he got right back in the box. I think that's an apostle thing, you know. They got
it's like I love how he was one of the few people who actually like kind of stayed close to the topic. It's like, all right. And it's like I have a weird way of speaking, but it's like he actually understood what I meant. It's like that was amazing.
That was amazing, yeah. All right, so until next Tuesday, y'all be blessed.
Take it in.
Amen.
Be blessed, everybody.
Matt.